My brother's an idiot. We are. God, we got a lot of information coming out this week. Actually, got a lot of trades, a lot of injuries, lot of NFL news, and we are missing King Goon. Obviously, he is some other stuff going on today, but we have Bobby in the house, and we have the man the show is named after.
Supposedly.
You know what? Tank, you're my brother, and you're the idiot.
Can you summon me like you're supposed to?
I don't know if I can get that voice out the way that he does it, but I can give it a shot.
Do it.
If you can't, I'll try.
Oh,
Do it.
You're gonna summon? Okay.
No, I'm just saying, if you want to try it, then yeah.
And how does he do that with his voice?
Okay, here we go. And now here is my husband, the idiot. I know it's not how Matt does it, but I'm not him.
That's not how you summon a goon.
It is.
There you go. And I am here.
But
you got to summon him. You got
goon. Yeah, I don't have that gravelly voice that he has.
You know what? You just more whiskey.
No, he's got a radio host.
That is the solution.
Yeah, his radio voice comes from all of the whiskey.
So I should start drinking?
Yes, this is exactly what I'm telling you. You have two children in grade school. You should absolutely be drinking.
That's why I'm not allowed to. They need to be kept alive. But
speaking of your children, I hear that the Days of the Week song is wrong in kindergarten.
It offends the little one, apparently. She was not happy about that.
I have heard.
Shout out to King Goon for the ingredients of mocktail this evening.
Yeah. Because Goldagoon celebrated his 5-year soberversary on Saturday. And so got an amazing faux old-fashioned kit from King Goon and I guess Queen Goon, Lady Goon.
Mm-hmm. Sarah. And Sarah's husband.
Sarah and Sarah's husband. But, yes, we actually start this week with some unfortunate news. We lost.
I guess we're just. Oh, go ahead.
Yep, we're just plowing right in. Just go for it.
Let's go.
Well, let's get to. Well, I mean,
utilize the agenda that was made.
Utilize the agenda.
Let's go.
Okay, the unfortunate news is
Paul Rubens died. For those who don't know, Paul Rubens is the AKA of Mr. Pee Wee Herman.
It's the Muggle name of Pee Wee Herman.
Yep.
I mean, without Pee Wee Herman, we really wouldn't have Tim Burton as we do now.
Okay, I'm just gonna say right now, I have never watched Pee Wee Herman. I think the whole thing is stupid.
Out. That's also where Lawrence Fishburne went. In between a couple of movies. It was a stepping stone to the Matrix. He was the cowboy.
Oh, that's right. He was the cowboy. Holy crap.
That was Lawrence Fishburne.
How did I forget about that?
And the whole thing was done by Tim Burton. That was a Tim Burton TV show.
Well, you know what? After watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp, that does not surprise me.
And on that note, I'd like to start a bi-weekly word of the week. We won't have one this week, maybe later. But the word of the week will be something I get our number one fan to pronounce.
We have a couple of recordings. We could do one.
Oh, I will, but
okay,
I need
now
to move this on so I can go look.
Here's the thing for the word of the week. You will say it in the way our number one fan says the word. And then the rest of the team will then have to try to determine which word that actually is.
Yeah, we're workshopping it. But I do have some recordings. I'll find one here in a moment. But carry on. What were we doing? Paul Rubens. All right.
Oh, right. So we're supposed to talk about our favorite stuff about him.
Yeah,
Oh,
part of this week is kind of recognizing the man's work. He had an interesting career, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of, I really liked him as an actor. He was in that ridiculous Ben Stiller superhero movie.
Oh, Mystery Men. Yep.
Yes, and he was the spleen. And then I just watched him in a few episodes of Gotham where he played the biological father of the Penguin. And
that's actually one of my favorite performances of his.
Yeah, I just got through it, and I thought it was awesome. He was only in there for like 2 episodes, 3 episodes, maybe.
3 episodes, yeah.
And he was awesome. That whole thing just made the way they made Penguin turn back into a psychotic. Oh my God. And he's worse than before.
Oh, yeah.
Roast the kids and feeds them to the mom. That's another podcast, though.
And that one, interestingly enough, like that was kind of paying homage to he was actually Cobblepot in Batman Returns.
Oh yeah, he was.
He was like the brother, essentially, I guess, of the Penguin.
Yeah.
And
he was Danny DeVito's brother.
So that was kind of paying homage to that old connection there, that he actually played two different characters in the same family.
That's awesome. It's really cool. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna miss him. He was a large part of my childhood. I remember watching a lot of that goofy old shit growing up. The word of the day and all that stuff. And who could forget the Pee Wee Herman dance where you put your hands in front of you and then behind you, and then she's looking at me do it while I'm doing it on the other side of the room. I'm actually making the Pee Wee Herman dance. That was brilliant. That was good stuff. It was haunting. And it turns out he was a little bit of a perv.
Well, he had some definitely eccentricities of the erotic nature.
He liked to go to the movies.
Huh?
He liked to go to the movies.
Yeah, he ran into a couple legal issues because of his
and got comfortable
erotica stuff. But he was a collector of what they would call kitsch erotica. Lots of it, especially from mostly 30s through the 60s. It was a lot of it.
Yeah. He got caught a few times at the XXS house with his pants down.
Yeah.
And so ran into some legal trouble with those, but performed Pee Wee Herman admirably till almost his death.
He was also Locke in the talking about Tim Burton. He was Locke in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, that is my favorite of him.
I heard a daddy.
Yep.
Do you need to go deal with that? Good. Let's carry on.
But yeah. He was an eccentric, but he played his role gallantly, let's say. So a big, like I was saying, get back to what we were talking about. Big news this week. NFL news is fully
training camp started this week.
Yeah, so NFL
we have football right now.
Fully engulfed the sports landscape. And you know what? Our hometown team seems to be a big chunk of it.
Yeah. One specific guy.
Yeah, one specific guy starting some interesting issues. What's your thoughts on our commander in chief?
Oh man, I think it's great. He went down and scorched earth. So he initially came out and just said Hackett did the worst coaching job of all time, and he went after The GM, he went after the ownership group at the time. He went after the coach. Short of naming Hackett by name, he did call them the worst coaching job of all time. And he keeps doing it over and over again, where he's like, yeah, we're not doing that shit this way, that kind of stuff. He's going nuts on that. He said something about the Jets, I know what that circus looks like, and watch, they're just going to falter and fluke out, like just you watch, it's going to be a nightmare scenario. Aaron Rodgers went back at him saying, keep my quarterback's name out your mouth, like he's fucking, Will Smith at the Oscars last year. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. But, Aaron Rodgers has a little bit of a point. And then Hackett came back and said, a lot of what he said was true. And, he's happy to be in the position he's in. And, he said all the right things in response to everything that Sean Payton said. And Sean Payton got a little talking to, I'm sure he did, because that wasn't the only thing that Sean Payton talked about.
No, he called the Broncos out as an organization as well for their what did he call it? Not dog and pony show.
But it was basically shit show without calling it a shit show.
Basically rolling out the red carpet for a bunch of nonsense because they won the offseason.
Yeah.
And saying he didn't prove anything except for that nothing worked last year.
Yeah, and that's when he scorched earth on the Jets.
Yeah.
So he's dealing with it, and he seems to have apologized and stuff. I'm not sure he needed to, but according to coach's code, we're not supposed to do that. My problem with coach's code is I fell asleep the other night to one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and the line that sticks out to me from when I fell asleep was, it's not much more of a code, kind of a group of suggestions, and like, if it's not like a law, who cares? Like there's going to be stuff that people say, and he honestly said it now instead of at the fifth week of the season, so it was going to come out eventually. And that's also what Hackett said. He was like, this kind of shit was going to come out eventually. And it was true. Well, it was awful.
I can respect a lot of what happened. I respect how Hackett handled it, because he could have just went off the handle too, but he took the gentleman's approach to it and just kind of said, you know what was said was said. It's done with. I'm not going to worry about it. But I respect what Peyton did. This is true. And it needed to be done. This is like the old, you don't talk about what everyone else makes when you're at work. You don't talk about your paychecks. Like, no, let's break down the old boy bullshit. Sean told the truth. He said this was a festival of bullshit last year. Yes. And you guys did nothing except for lose and make a good quarterback look like shit.
Yeah, and he endeared himself to this town by doing it. Like, he's going to be here for a long time, according to his contract. And by going after the organization's worst set of coaches in history, probably, and it's got to be close. How many times have 75,000 fans been screaming down the play clock at a coach in NFL history? Not just Broncos history, NFL history, where the people in the stands as one are doing a better job than the people getting paid to do the job on the field. Like, that didn't just happen once. It was all game for several games where they couldn't even get the play in. It's embarrassing. They had to have somebody come in to help him coach, and then they fired him with that guy because they didn't have anybody else to do it with. I've never seen worse special teams in my life. I've never seen play management as bad as that. And Camp Cupcake was awful. And that's one of the reasons why I think we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but all these injuries we're seeing is because we weren't conditioned right last year. So these guys came in all soft and doughy, and now you're seeing fucking 3 of these guys dropping like flies already.
Well, one of them was a different thing, but yes.
Same idea.
Same idea, but and you're not wrong. The entire approach to it is he's breaking down the barrier, and he's saying what everyone's thinking. He is saying exactly what everyone was thinking. How many times in Broncos history have they been a 25% winning percentage? Not often. They don't win a lot of Super Bowls, but they've been to a shitload of them because they win consistently.
Yeah.
And for them to be as terrible as they have been recently, and especially last year, they were awful.
Yeah, it was.
They had one of the worst offensive performances of any team at any point
in NFL history.
Yeah. Like, it was rough just watching that team play. They were legitimately called, like, them versus the Colts was one of the most boring games in NFL history.
Yeah.
And awfully played.
I struggled to watch the games because they were so fucking boring. They're just boring.
Yeah. And you know what? And Aaron's going to protect his guy. And I will say, if nothing else, Peyton defended Russ.
Yeah.
He's like, he was put in a bad situation. Yes, he had his own issues and he had some off the field stuff that was going on, but there's no way this guy, being what he was in Seattle, had that big of a drop off for no reason.
There was a reason why Russell Wilson did what he did on social media last year, and it's because the organization was like, we are so grateful to have this guy. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah. We have to, have him. We have to make him happy because he was, this guy that just came to us like magic and wildflowers, and we have to burn the sage on the ground in front of him and all this shit. So they gave him an office. They gave him his own staff. They gave him way too much leeway, and you saw what happened. You have a guy who's doing high knees, and granted, whether or not the calisthenics happened or not on a plane, that's fine. But the fact that it became a big deal because it was such a joke last year, because he was so intense and the team was so fucking bad, like, that was the joke, was Russell was so intense and terrible. And like how long did the whole bathrooms versus touchdowns thing last year?
Until week like 15 or something like that.
Right. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, he brought it on himself, and part of that was the fact that Hackett didn't have the balls to say anything to him and say, hey man, we're gonna fucking run the shit this way. You can't do it your own way anymore.
And see, I think there's a little bit of both on that. I think letting Russ do his thing on the field was necessary. I think if they would have let that do more, he would have been better off if he was allowed to kind of run the offense a little bit more.
No, I disagree with that.
I think the biggest issue is the Broncos tried to shove him down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
And in that same regard, the NFL allowed that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no leash on him off the field where he was getting to say and do whatever he wanted in public, and it became a joke.
He had his own quarterbacks coach. They had a quarterbacks coach on the roster that didn't do a fucking thing because Russell had his own guy. Like, that's a fucking joke. Mm-hmm. That's an absolute disaster. Anyways, everything that Sean Payton said was correct.
Yeah, it was correct. And, builds up a little bit. They'll have some more, stuff to sell for the NFL. I'm sure that was part of it. Because Payton is kind of always said what he wanted, basically.
Yeah, right.
And I think
being on Fox didn't hurt that.
Yeah. him having a year off where he basically just allowed to shoot at the mouth all year long, I think did kick in a little bit on this, where he's like, I'm just going to say it. Fuck it.
I mean, the same thing happened to me when I first got sober. Everyone was like, let him say whatever he wants. And now it's 5 years later, like, holy shit, why are you saying that?
But yeah, so that was fun.
Let's talk about some injuries.
Oh God. Well, I guess we can start with the home team. Tim Patrick.
Yep.
Out for the season again.
Is it the
I twisted my ankle.
No,
she did. She had a lidocaine pack on foot, and I was like, what's that? She's like, it's my ankle, it's fine.
You said we're talking about injuries. I warned you both that I am very well versed and good on nerds. This is sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sit here with big tits and a tiny head.
We can talk about Aaron Rodgers.
We can talk about your titties.
But like, seriously, the way I look with the way the camera is on my phone, I look like that guy from Beetlejuice with the really tiny head.
The shrunken head guy.
Yeah, but just with giant boobs.
Giant boobs.
But yeah, injuries.
Yeah.
I twisted my ankle and it hurts.
That's unfortunate.
Okay, I'm done.
My guy Timmy P is hurt again. Was my only question was, and I don't know if it's been answered yet, was it the same leg that he blew his Achilles out on, or was it the other leg?
I believe it's his other leg.
So he has 2 catastrophic injuries on both of his, one on each leg.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Achilles is going to be harder to come back from. It always
Yeah.
is. It always is. So
yeah, unfortunately, he was just returning from an ACL tear last season. That happened also
in camp.
Yeah. And this again was a non-contact injury, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I don't know that for sure. Oh, it was. I watched the play.
Yeah.
I watched the play.
So
that was, yeah.
That's usually not a good sign when you're having non-contact injuries. That means your body is not ready to go, generally speaking, and you're going too quick, too fast, or you just didn't recover enough and you weren't ready to come back and you compensated for it. And
I think part of that is the coaching job that they did last year didn't prepare these guys for an actual NFL training camp, and so everything that happened last year is compounding, and now we're seeing it with what's his name, Josiah Bartlett.
Oh God, yeah, that's right.
What the hell's his name? Not Josiah Bartlett.
Jonas Griffith.
Yeah.
Jonas Griffith.
Josiah Bartlett is a senator from. No, that's Jed Bartlett. Josiah Bartlett was the senator.
Yeah, Josiah Bartlett is his full name. He goes by Jed.
Oh, okay.
Westford.
Gotcha. But yes, we also had a second catastrophic injury.
What?
And Jonas Griffin is out for the season with a torn ACL, also non-contact injury.
There's a Bartlett on the Declaration of Independence. Oh. That's what I said. Yeah, the KJ Hamler thing is sad. It sounds like the Broncos are doing right by him. They could just cut him outright, or they could, do whatever, but they're doing right by him. And hoping that when he comes back, he falls to them. Other teams can give him offers as well at this point. So,
yeah, he has pericarditis apparently.
Yeah, which I had never heard of before.
Which, for those who don't know, that's an unusual enlarging of the heart wall that causes it to become weak, and potential for heart attacks massively increase.
Didn't the Grinch have that problem?
I think he ended up with that problem.
Yeah, probably after his through 10 sizes without reproducing the necessary cellular content.
Yeah, the spontaneous heart growth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it's pericarditis, and it looks like they're going to let him roll through waivers, and if he gets back to us, they're going to re-sign him for whatever vet minimum or whatever they can to at least give him a paycheck, I guess.
Yeah. And it frees up the roster spot for them.
Yeah. Which, that reminds me, I owe the Broncos an apology. I didn't realize they were going to injure all of our players before the season started. So good job drafting all those receivers and linebackers.
Yeah. Marvin Mims becomes a necessity now.
Yeah, Marvin Mims is now a necessity. Same with the cover model that we signed at linebacker. What's his name? Drew. What is it? Drew something. He looks like a cover model.
Who are you talking about?
I don't know, but now I want to see what he looks like. I'm going to Google
the linebacker we drafted. Drew something. He looks like the fucking dude that played Jack Reacher. Is that right? Alan Richardson.
He looks like Alan Richmond.
2023. All right, newest Denver Broncos linebackers: Randy Gregory, Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito, and Jonas Griffith.
No, none of those guys.
That's all last year's guys. It's Drew something. Fuck, what is his name?
Who just signed with the Broncos?
We just drafted.
We just drafted him. Broncos draft picks. Anyways, carry on while we're doing this.
But yes. So apparently I was wrong. I thought we needed defensive
Drew
and offensive.
Sanders?
Drew Sanders. Thank you.
And let's see what this pretty boy looks like.
Keep going, Tank.
Yeah. I thought we needed offensive and defensive line. Apparently, they didn't think so and drafted a bunch of linebackers and receivers, and apparently that was necessary
because actually their defensive line looks okay.
Yeah, it looks decent.
And their edge rushing looks deep now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've seen way better looking guys play for the Pack.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying he looks very.
He looks like an Abercrombie model.
Yeah. And he plays middle linebacker. He's like 250 pounds. I mean, he's a huge monster of a man, but he doesn't look like he belongs on a football field if you just look at his face.
No, he kind of looks like he would be a swimmer.
Yeah. But yeah, so good thing we signed all those guys, even though I thought it was unnecessary several months ago.
Carry on.
Yeah, there we go. And then injuries across the board for the rest of the league. Jalen Ramsey is out until at least November, maybe December. It looks like
that's a rough injury.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for the Dolphins.
Yeah. Joe Burrow is missing his second straight camp, or a third straight camp.
I believe this is his second full. Yeah, he might miss the entire
second
camp,
full,
like.
And I think it's his third camp in a row that he's missed time in.
And his also non-contact injury. He was on a rollout and just twisted something up and started hopping.
Yep.
They said it's a calf strain of some kind, which, I mean, that kind of looked like what it was. Everyone freaked out initially because apparently it looked like it was an Achilles tear, but when I watched it, I didn't think Achilles, so I don't know.
No, I was thinking he blew a knee tendon or something.
Mm-hmm.
So calf strain's okay.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of other injuries. I mean, surprising this many this early.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of random retirements. Like Sony Michel retired. And
Sony Michel retired out of nowhere after 5 years.
There are like 4 or 5 different rookies that have retired, like just signed contracts and then just retired. And a few other wide receivers that are like, they got into camp and then just retired the second day. So It's always interesting this time of year to see who's NFL ready and who's ready to pack it in and who gets hurt. And you still have people like Julio Jones on the market. You still have people like
I just looked at the free agency roster, and it's
huge list.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. There's so many people that are just looking for work.
I'm gonna actually pull that up real quick because
like Dalvin Cook is still on the move. Like it's wild. But while we're talking about all the injuries and stuff, and while Tank's looking that up, talking about all these different free agents. We were talking about the running backs last time, and the Giants apparently did right by Saquon and gave him an extra $1 million.
900,000 it ended up being.
Yeah,
roughly.
And he's happy and in camp, I guess, over less than $1 million. So I guess that was a whole non-story. It's just it's a weird amount.
Well, and it's all basically all incentive.
Yeah.
He got a little tiny bit more guaranteed, but then the rest of it is incentive based. And those incentives are to hit career highs in rushing yards, receptions, and total carries for the season or something like that.
Yeah. And those are fine. I just think that for a guy that was like on the verge of trying to tear the CBA down from the inside with those other guys.
Yes.
I think that he just kind of gave up and realized he wanted to play football, and somebody in his camp, one of his teammates or something, had a good long talk with him and Because this seems kind of like a give up move to me. It's like, all right, bet, put me on a contract where, I'm making incentives to make up the rest of this money, and then it puts me in the top tier of if you want to do the next year's. If they try to tag him again, it's like a $16 million tag.
Oh yeah, it bumps up a bit. It goes
Yeah.
all the way to the highest paid
Yeah.
if you double tag, I guess.
So they gave him that option. So it's kind of a prove it deal. I don't see it as a win for Saquon. I think he just kind of gave up and wanted to go earn money and play football.
And it's definitely not a win for the rest of the running backs looking to get the payday that they're desiring.
One JT.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Taylor is having himself an unfortunate experience right now.
he's on the bad side of Jim Irsay, who I've got an interesting Jim Irsay story. But before I get into that,
the Beatles.
No, it's something he's doing right now. It's actually pretty cool. He's spending like $60 or $80 million to transplant a whale from where it is in captivity to where it was from, and it's going to be in a netted area in like the sound of Portsmouth or whatever in Washington, like Spokane, Washington, or something like that. But he's paying the entire fee to get this whale to go live out basically its natural existence in its natural habitat. It's kind of a cool story. But then, he starts talking shit about how running backs are
not worth the money.
Not worth the money. And his only offensive player decided, you want to bet?
And not only, they do have Michael Pittman. They just don't have a quarterback to throw to him.
Right. So now he wants out.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, which understandably took offense to what his owner had to say about running backs and their value. And immediately, I think the next day, said, I think it was no longer want to be. Oh, yeah. Maybe in the same day. Either way, it was very quick.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
for a meeting.
Trade me. Yeah. Which can't fault him for that, saying like, hey. And they also, not only did those comments come out about him, not being valuable, they also falsely reported that he was injured.
Oh, yeah. They
said he had a back injury. And he said, no, I don't. Why are you telling people that?
I have never had any kind of back pain. My back feels just fine.
Yeah. So they lied about his physical status and then told him he wasn't worth paying.
Yeah. Not a great situation there for Jimmy. But, saving the whales, that's very Star Trek 4, man. We're into it.
Yeah. We're into that part. Good job, Jim.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Handling your players does not seem to be your forte. Maybe hand that off to someone else.
Right. I wonder if MJ knows that story. I'm going to have to figure that out if she knows about the Jim Irsay flying the whale across country thing. I'll bet she'd be into that. She likes Star Trek 4.
Everybody likes Star Trek 4.
But yes, jumping back onto the free agent list real quick.
Yeah.
Minus Isaiah Rodgers, who's not going to be playing anywhere this year, or maybe in the NFL ever again.
Right.
Depending on what team he ended up betting on. Jadeveon Clowney is still available. Zeke Elliott's still available. Kareem Hunt's still available. Leonard Fournette, Teddy Bridgewater, Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry cracks me up. I don't understand that at all.
I think we should sign him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Shelby Harris is still out there.
That's
love to get Shelby back on a free deal essentially.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't want to come back here though.
Oh no, he's not happy with us right now. Kyle Van Noy is still out there. I think Byron Jones, Kenny Golladay, even though he didn't really have a good performance,
I was going to say he was kind of shit last year, so.
But part of that was definitely the Giants' offense.
Fair.
And there's a bunch. There's still huge names, and some of them are obviously age dumps. You're going to see some guys that just, they're hitting that mid-30s thing, and people are just going to drop them, and they're not going to sign him unless needed at this point.
Right.
But there's still a decent amount of people out there that have some value that are just sitting and waiting.
Right. And all those running backs are still there.
Oh yeah. Big names. I know they're not as effective as they once were, especially when you're looking at Zeke and, Fournette and stuff like that. I think Kareem Hunt still has a lot of value.
Yeah, but the problem is those guys don't tend to play special teams.
True.
And if you're going to have somebody at that roster spot who plays that and has a similar skill set, you might as well get one from college for, the rookie deal in the
Cheaper.
6th rounder undrafted, and they will actually do special teams for you. These guys won't.
No, they will not.
So
Dalvin Cook's the big one. Obviously, he's still but he's. I don't know what's going to happen with him. People are still worrying about his off the field stuff, I guess, a little bit.
yes, absolutely.
Because we still don't know. I believe the charges were dropped. Or at least one of them was, and he kind of reconciled the other part of that. But they don't know how long he's going to be suspended. That hasn't been figured out, I don't believe.
No, it hasn't.
So I know some teams are kind of worried about that. He's a good player. His off the field issues are unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what teams are looking at right now.
Yeah. I'm assuming he's going to land somewhere, but I'm wondering if he's going to have to take a pay cut.
He's going to have to take an absolute pay cut.
Yeah. And I don't think Jonathan Taylor, is going to get more than he's currently on contract for, which is $4 million, I think.
No, and they're not going to trade him. Jim Irsay's that kind of douche where he won't trade somebody that's unhappy with him. He'll let him sit out and not earn his money, and this will get ugly quickly. It's already ugly. It's about to get a lot worse.
Yeah. I mean, that's a running back market in general. It's about to get worse.
Right.
If it's bad now, it's going to be worse. Yeah. That's most of the news. Is there any other NFL news? I mean, we got a game going currently.
Yeah, but that's not news.
Hall of Fame game. Very uninteresting Hall of Fame game currently happening between the Jets and Browns.
The sack of shit fucking Cleveland Browns don't have their first two quarterbacks even suited up for this.
Nobody does.
Their starter is their fourth stringer, and they're going to play their third stringer in the second half.
Yeah, who is and I think the Jets rolled out Wilson to start.
Yeah, it was Zach Wilson.
And then Tim Boyle, I think, came in after him. Which I believe
that's actually an interesting contest there. Backup quarterback and
well, I mean, Tim's been Aaron's backup before when they were in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. And he probably cost less.
Cost significantly less, yes.
Yeah.
And Zach didn't really prove anything except for that he took a sack, I guess.
Yep.
That's about it. I mean, honestly, though, you're working with third and fourth stringers. Most of the players that we're seeing today are not going to be on NFL teams in a month.
No, these are the guys you'll see when The Rock breaks out the XFL next spring. Yeah. Which is good because that these guys get a chance to develop a little bit more of their skills and get another chance at the NFL now because there's these league alternates where these guys can go.
Yeah.
And we can watch them again. Or not. I don't watch any of that shit.
For me, the most interesting player in this game has been what's that kid from the Jets? Brownlee. Undrafted rookie, but he seems to be showing out pretty good so far in camp.
Where does he play?
Huh? He's a receiver.
Oh.
And apparently Aaron really likes him already. So maybe you got a guy in your hands there.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
Yeah, it's 16-14 now at the beginning of the fourth, and no one cares.
Yeah, give a fuck.
Yeah. Joe Thomas was the most interesting thing about the broadcast.
Yeah, and he just said that, the way he got through all those years in Cleveland was to just say, all right, I'm just going to do my job and fuck everybody else. He said it much nicer than that, but that was essentially what he said. He
Well,
said,
and
I grew up in the Belichick system, and there's a hard-nosed system, and the phrase you always hear is "do your job and don't worry about anybody else." So that's what he said. I'm taking that to mean, fuck this. I am just going to play myself into the Hall of Fame and fuck everything, basically.
yeah, he did a hell of a job, and unfortunately was at the end of his career when the potential for him moving on to a good team just kind of disappeared.
Yeah. It wasn't worth it at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have had him. He could have had a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Do you have any bets, dude?
Yes. Baseball. Because I'm not betting
Baseball?
on. Yeah, I'm not betting on preseason football yet. I'm not. That level of degeneracy hasn't kicked in yet.
I have a degenerate bet.
Oh, what is it?
We are going to Vegas next weekend. While we are there, I'm going to put money on the Packers winning the entire season.
Like going
the Super
17
Bowl.
and 0?
No, but winning the Super Bowl, taking the title for their division, not sucking.
I'll tell you the exact odds of that here in just a second.
It's going to be really, really bad because they're going to suck ass this year. And I get that.
They are plus 6,600 to win the Super Bowl. To win the AFC North, they are. Oh no, that's the NFC.
Yeah.
They are plus 2,800 to win the NFC.
Yeah, that's because they have Detroit and Minnesota there.
Yeah, no, I know that I'm just basically going to be wasting that money, which is why it's my degenerate bet.
Hey, you know what? Based on the news that's coming out so far, which obviously is training camp, so that doesn't mean a whole lot yet. Jordan Love looks good.
The Packers are really good at taking a second string quarterback and making him lovely.
What? Wait a minute. Where did you hear that he's doing good?
That is the reports coming out, right? That he
you-
actually looks decent.
I can't remember who I saw, but it was Garofalo or one of those guys who I saw it on a news blurb that said there was somebody who is an assistant coach with the Jets who said that Sandy Dog is very excited about fucking something. And I'm not sure what it is, but that Jordan Love doesn't have the decision-making ability to be an NFL quarterback.
Someone from the Jets said that?
No, sorry, someone from the Packers.
Oh.
Yeah, someone who's coaching him currently says it doesn't look good and his decision-making ability is basically flawed.
No, see, I've been hearing the opposite. That's weird.
See, I think one of the big things that people don't really acknowledge, or at least those who aren't you guys, is how much more of a mental game it is for a quarterback as opposed to just the physical ability to play. Because they have to be a leader, they have to make the decisions on the field, they have to call plays, they have to be able to do all of that jazz. And, if not, then the team suffers.
And Jordan Love has the unfortunate circumstance of trying to replace Aaron Rodgers, who, although only having one Super Bowl win, is
still Aaron fucking Rodgers.
Yeah, still Aaron Rodgers, one of the better quarterbacks in the last 2 decades.
They've had 2 Hall of Fame starters in a row, and you're Jordan Love. Good luck.
Yeah, and I'm guessing they're going to rely on the run game. They still have the Quadfather over there, so
I want that as a T-shirt.
It exists as a T-shirt. I'll get you one. I've actually seen that T-shirt.
Okay, cool. I want that shirt.
Don't waste the money.
But the one I've been hearing a lot of about is Trey Lance. Apparently, he looks like garbage.
But none of these are degenerate bets.
Oh, sorry.
Mine was a degenerate bet.
That is a degenerate bet. To bet on the Packers to win the Super Bowl, that's
plus 6,600.
Yeah.
I am throwing away my money, but I'm doing it with love, God damn it.
I got one close to that with the Friday lineup on baseball. I got Atlanta at -1.5, Washington at +1, 1.5, Tampa at -1.5, Houston at -1.5, Angels at +1.5, and Boston, surprisingly, at -1.5 for a plus 5,400.
Hey, if you ask Alex Cora, they're the best team in baseball the last month, so. Which is not out of the realm of actual.
That's not entirely wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, they're really good right now.
They're actually doing pretty decently, which is surprising considering the supreme lack of superstar talent on that team right now.
Yeah, they're going in there with fucking machetes, glue guns, and fucking popsicle sticks, and trying to fucking, and like some of these guys that they're getting to pitch who are like coming out of nowhere, I've never even heard of before, and they're just fucking none of them are Chris Sale or whatever the fuck his name is.
Nobody.
Corey Kluber.
Which Kluber isn't Kluber anymore either, so let's not qualify that one.
That he was supposed to be the guy that when they were talking about the season at the beginning of the year, Chris Sale was supposed to be the number 2 starter, which, come on, it's Chris Sale. Yeah. He should be like, maybe he'll be the 5th starter if we can get him there. And Corey Kluber was named the ace of the clubhouse. He was their big offseason acquisition.
Let's be honest. You're a Boston fan. You're a Red Sox fan. Did you think there was any shot in the world that Kluber was going to come in and be the ace?
I am absolutely fucking shocked right now that the Red Sox, with what I thought was maybe the worst bullpen and arm rotation in baseball, I thought for sure they would be in the cellar, the absolute cellar. And they're above 500 by 6 games right now and playing some of the best baseball, just 10 games in, 10 games in, 10 games in. People have bought into this team so much so that they only dealt Kike Hernandez, who was talking about retirement anyway, so he could finish his year off with the Dodgers. And that's the only thing that they got rid of. They kept all of their young talent that they were talking about trading.
And they somehow jumped over the Yankees by half a game.
Yeah, the Yankees suck right now. They're playing the worst baseball.
I don't think they're playing the worst baseball. There's a couple of teams that are playing worse baseball.
Neil, just so you know, Mark thinks the Yankees suck. The Nakeds? God, I'm so out of it. The Yankees suck. Honey, you know what I'm trying to say. Say the words.
No.
Fine.
I don't really have a degenerate bet. My plan is to place several when I get to Vegas next week. I don't know if we're recording next week or not. I'm assuming we are, but it'll be obviously Nerds. And that's on Wednesday next week. I believe we're going back to Wednesdays.
That is correct.
This is a special occasion just because of the special occasion from yesterday. So, but anyways, I will have better understanding of what my degenerate bets will be when we come back in 2 weeks. So I don't have anything right now. Bad baseball is bad baseball.
Which we have plenty of that. Especially in Colorado.
MJ's not here, so she normally does a whole lot of swearing and talking about hockey. There's nothing really interesting going on right now in hockey.
Bergeron retired.
Yeah, Bergeron retiring, which I'm sad about, but I'm glad he's retiring rather than moving on to a different team. He wasn't going to be playing for the Bruins this year, I don't think. He's just so the Bruins did the right thing, and he did the right thing, and he can walk away happy and be a coach in a couple of years for the Bruins. That's pretty much it, I think. Nothing else really crazy going on.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
O'Connor signed a deal to avoid arbitration. I guess that's about it.
That's not news.
That's about it. Yeah, there's nothing. This is the wrong time to be looking at hockey. There is nothing happening.
There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Joker's having himself an off season. I don't know if you're following Harrison Wind on Twitter. but the guy
I
is
fucking love him so
fucking
very.
so great. He is celebrating his ass off for all of these horse races he does, and it's exactly what you would think a Serbian fucking celebrate his ass off looks like.
That was the best picture in the world. Was him with the NBA championship trophy,
Yeah.
and then him with his horse race trophy,
Yeah.
and you can tell which one's a job and which one's a hobby.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
He loves his horses, man. The guy loves his horses.
He
And
was
he's
so
really
excited to
good.
win.
He's really good at it.
Yeah,
His horses are
apparently-
great.
Yeah, they won. Was it last week?
Yeah.
His horse won, and yeah, he was super excited.
Those horses have won like 5 races this summer already.
Oh yeah, they're doing. He's running some good ones right now, which
Fucking wild, man.
but
Good
just
for
for
him.
how unfucking caring he looked to have the MVP and the championship and all that shit to going. He won this random horse race and
He loves
being
that
super
shit.
excited.
He loves it. He loves it.
In
But
addition
because
to
of
that, Joker is not going to be playing in the FIBA tournament this year. And Serbia is not happy about that.
Well, I think the Serbians get it overall because it doesn't sound like they're revolting against him, but Serbian basketball is going to miss him tremendously. You know, the greatest player on the planet not playing for his team.
Yeah. And that's the biggest part of it is that he's just not playing for the home team.
Yeah.
And that's upsetting. I think that's upsetting more just the general public that they don't get to watch him play again.
Yeah.
But I think it's understandable also that he's sitting it out. He's like, he just went, and won the championship.
Man needs a fucking break.
Yeah, he needs to play with his horses for a couple more months, and then he can get back to NBA.
Also, how much money is he bringing back to Serbia?
Millions, I'm assuming.
And how much money is he getting back from Serbia if he does this FIBA tournament? Horseshoes.
Yeah, nothing.
It's not near as much.
Yeah.
Granted, there's endorsements, but he's getting those anyways.
Yeah, he already gets those. Plus, he just got paid $250 million, something.
The greatest player in basketball currently does not need to worry about sponsorship dollars enough to, make that a thing.
No, but God, they should put him in more American sponsorship stuff. I'd love to see him do like a Sprite commercial or something.
Oh man, I used to love it when he used to have those old altitude commercials back before anybody knew who he was.
Oh my God, yes.
He'd do like
His early
long
years,
commercials
yes.
and shit. Hi, it's Nikola Jokic. Come on down to Phil Long.
Yeah. I really want to see him though, like an early 2000s Sprite remix style commercial.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
And he just keeps that deadpan face.
But they have to put him in like the tracksuit mafia gear.
Oh yeah.
Just with like bro across his shirt.
Yeah. Those who not remember those old Sprite commercials where it was dunks and neon colors and all that stuff, and have him just do some nice little layups. And
I am convinced that Sprite broke Grant Hill because he was the one that got that Sprite money first. He was the first big star, and once he got that money, and it was Grant Hill drink Sprite, and
but probably wasn't
started.
true, but
then he started breaking like badly. He couldn't stay healthy after that. So I think that Grant Hill drinking Sprite made him brittle.
You know what? That could be.
Just saying. It's my conspiracy theory.
Also in NBA news, which weird that it's in NBA news considering he doesn't play in the NBA.
What the hell is that?
What is
I
that?
pushed a button. Okay, so because I was going to ask if conspiracy theory is better than a degenerate bet, and I accidentally pushed a QR code thing on Restream.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay.
Are they going to send us money?
If we leave the QR code and people use it.
Yeah, but not now. I turned it off.
Yeah, it covers your boobs and your face.
in that order.
Well, at the angle you're sitting at, it kind of is in
Technically,
that
yes.
order.
Yeah.
You said
Um,
shrunken head earlier, so I'm just, the predominant feature of the boobies.
But in tangentially NBA news, Bronny had a cardiac arrest issue. Bronny is, if those who don't know it, LeBron's son, and apparently had some sort of cardiac issue pop up a week ago, I guess, at this point. And he had to be rushed to the hospital, and seemingly he's doing okay now, but that is very scary for a teenager who seems to be in
It's
prime
what,
physical
18?
condition. Yeah.
And he had they called it cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
So his heart stopped.
His heart stopped for
And it's
an
not like
undetermined amount of time.
it's not like he's from, uncommon breeding. The guy is, a specimen of,
Oh, yeah.
LeBron and LeBron's wife. Like,
Yeah,
he's got good genes.
Yeah, he is an athlete for sure.
So, I mean, hopefully the kid's okay and he can get over this.
And that's it. Like the
return to
news,
form.
the news is good.
Yeah.
What little of it there is.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully he gets back to it and, makes Papa proud.
And yeah, once again, this is the NBA. This is the no news time for the NBA.
Yeah. Anytime you get news this time of year with the NBA, it's usually bad news.
Mm-hmm. All the
Usually-
big free agency stuff already happened.
Yeah. It's usually an arrest or something that happens around this time of year.
Team USA opened up their camp for FIBA, so maybe we'll see something interesting there.
Yeehaw.
I doubt it, but maybe.
No, we won't. No.
Getting back to the Major League Baseball, we aren't as close to a Spider Cup anymore.
We still have some contenders here. So if you do the math, for those of you who are new or don't know, the idea is to get more than 100 losses in order to get into the Spiders Cup. So in order on a 162 game season to get 100 losses. So I'm going to try to do the math here. How do I do this? 100 divided by 162. Nope, that's not the right way to do it. How do you do 162 divided by 100? Nope, that's not the right way either.
If it's 162 games in a season,
Yeah.
and they need to lose 100 games or more,
Yeah.
they're only allowed to win 62 games.
Right.
Are you trying to figure out the percentage?
Correct.
That's what he's trying to get is the percentage.
Yes.
Oh my
Math is
God.
insanely difficult.
Which I believe is
I count things for a living.
380.
It's right there. It's like 381 or something like that. But if you're looking at it, the Royals are right there. The White Sox are right there. The Athletics are bottom of the barrel.
Athletics are the ones that probably will do it because I don't see them winning 30 more games.
No, not a chance. And the Rockies are
Flirting
right
with
there.
it.
Yeah, they're right there again still. So we
And we
have a
just got-
chance with the Rockies.
And then the Rockies just sold off half their team.
Rockies sold off, their two best hitters.
Yeah.
They lost an awful series.
Yeah.
What's the lose percentage though, baby?
What?
Lose 61%. So it's 39 and some change.
Yeah, 380. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Roughly 380 is where
Thank
the
you.
percentage is.
Thank the Duchess for that math.
Mhm.
The Rockies are right above that.
Yeah, and they just sold off Grichuk and Crone to the
And they lost a weekend series to the A's.
Mhm. Which is gross in general.
Right. And by the way, the Friday, Saturday games for those brought in over 80,000 people for those two games. So, and
People are
it's the
still going.
two of the worst teams in baseball. So what are the Montforts going to do? Like, this is exactly what my point was. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The fucking government of Colorado gave them a square block in the middle of downtown, right next to the only thing that draws business into downtown. They gave them a square block of that and said, here, and here's some money so you can build some buildings here. So they built something that they get revenue in the hundreds of millions of dollars every year in McGregor Square right there. And they got that shit for free. They gave it to them right by their ballpark. So not only are they getting hundreds of millions of dollars from tenants and taxes and all that shit for free,
in one of the nicest fields in Major League Baseball.
People are showing up to the games by the 40,000 per game. That's one of the highest attendances in Major League Baseball. It always is. So all of those fucking Rockies fans that are out there saying, we just got to stop showing up to the games. We just got to do this.
That'll never happen.
It's not going to happen. The Montforts can sit on their fucking dicks and spin for all that they care. They don't fucking have to do a fucking thing, and they're rolling in money. And you see that with the way they treat their professional baseball team. They had two guys that were on a hitting streak of sorts, and they got rid of them as quickly as they could before the end of the season.
Oh, yeah. They sold. We got some farm players in return for somebody. I don't remember which trade that was. And then we got money from the Cardinals for who was it? Got money for the Cardinals for someone. Either way, they sold off half the team.
Right.
And the only thing we really have, and the reason that people go is because it's a beautiful stadium, and it, if my math is correct, is still $8 for a rock pile ticket.
Not only that, but it's a thing. People come to Denver to do that. People come to Denver to do Red Rocks. People come to Denver to do, they'll go up to the mountains or whatever and do the hot springs. People come to Denver in the summer to go to Winter Park and mountain bike. People come to Denver to do Coors Field. It is a thing. It's on the list of things.
And it's one of the nicest bars in Denver.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a meat market.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not, the Montforts don't have to do a fucking thing.
And they proved that, I think, when they got rid of our best player and paid the team to take him.
Yeah,
and nobody fired a missile at their office when that happened. So
the highest paid player on the Rockies for the last 3 years and continues to be this year is somebody who's not playing for the Rockies.
No, he's currently the starting third baseman for the Cardinals.
Yeah. He is the lone bright spot for that fucking awful
dog shit of a franchise.
I am so happy that the fucking St. Louis Cardinals are so bad. Oh, I hate Cardinals fans so much. They are so awful.
Does Wainwright still play for them?
Probably.
I like him. That's about it.
I liked Lance Lynn when he was there, but that was before anybody knew who Lance Lynn was. Lance Lynn, I think, isn't he playing for... He just left the Mets to go somewhere too, didn't he?
That's who it was. That's who we traded with for players, the Mets. We got some pitchers, I think.
Well, and then the Mets told all of their star players, the GM pulled them all in the office and told them that they're shooting for 2024. And then they traded all the players they just signed.
Yeah, they traded. Wasn't it Verlander went back to the Astros?
Yeah. And their division rival got Max Scherzer.
Which is hilarious.
Have you seen the standings in the American League Central?
Well, I mean, it's not impressive. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry, the West. Look at the two top teams.
Yeah.
They traded him to division rivals who are in a pennant race right now. It's awesome. That's so good.
How stupid.
Okay, Texas teams, shoot yourselves in the foot.
You know what's
so good?
This is setting up for Houston to win again, and it makes me angry.
Yeah, it is.
Because I'm not a big fan of the Astros.
I hate the Astros.
But yeah.
I don't like their uniforms. I don't like the players for the team.
And didn't Tatis just hit his 100th home run against us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happened too.
that guy's a fucking nightmare.
Well,
We were-
that whole team, honestly,
we
for how
actually-
terrible they are stacked on that team.
We had the day game on yesterday that they were playing against San Diego, and I was sitting there literally, bartending and looking over my shoulder at it. I'm like, watch, this is what they want to do, but this is what's going to happen. And I was like, they're going to pitch. They want to pitch down and inside, but they're going to leave it up in the zone, and he's going to rake it. Home run, home run, home run. I think that game ended up like 9-0 was the final score.
And for how stacked that Padres team is, they're under 500.
That's the way the Padres always are. They
That-
they sign old veterans to terrible contracts, and they underperform.
I know, but it's not even old veterans. Tatis isn't old. Soto's not old.
Yeah,
Cronenworth's not old. They have a good team. They just, God, can't win, apparently.
right.
Hey, sweetheart.
Who else is on there?
Well, it's just me and Uncle Gonzo.
Are they on the same? Are you guys doing the same screen, or are you going to do different?
They're on two different screens.
We're on two different ones. How was school?
Good.
Yeah, do you like your new teacher?
It's the exact same teacher.
Yeah, she got the same teacher.
Okay then.
They looped, apparently, up
Yeah.
to third.
Our elementary school in Hawaii did that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you looked really awesome. I got to see your school pictures.
Is Uncle Gonzo? Can you see Uncle Gonzo? Or
Yeah, they're in the same room together, honey.
there's
Yeah, I can see Uncle Gonzo. He was dancing earlier.
And he's about to show up, I believe, on
And now you can see up Uncle Gonzo's nose.
And all we can see was your mouth.
So we're talking about sports. What's your favorite sport?
Soccer.
Soccer? Who do you like best in soccer?
I like playing soccer. Not
You're your own favorite player? That is the best answer.
And my favorite plane driver, of course, is Jula because she'll drive us into everything.
That makes good sense.
Yep.
All right, sweet.
Okay, go get ready for bed. Love you.
Love you.
See you in the morning, baby girl. Close the door.
Uncle Gonzo!
Close the door.
I just saw Uncle Gonzo having a sloth.
What is
Uncle
a sloth?
Gonzo, why are you doing a sloth in your face? Why do you have a sloth for a face, Uncle Gonzo?
Because it's fun.
All right, love you, sweetheart.
Okay.
Night, baby. Love you.
Bye, Scar.
Bye.
God, I can't remember what we were talking about. Oh, Rockies are dog shit.
Matt put cards tearing the whole thing apart on the agenda. Yeah, they've had to tear that thing apart because they've gotten hit with so many sanctions. They don't have any draft picks, so their farm system is shit. So they have no players to deal with. The only player they really have is fucking what's his name? Everybody's boy from here, Arenado. So
Yeah.
and they're not going to trade him. They can't do anything about that. So of course it's not they're tearing it apart. It's been torn apart.
Oh yeah.
And now they're just
Yeah.
trying to rebuild their farm system because if you cheat enough, you get all your shit taken away from you, and then you can't be good. And you can see the repercussions of that right now.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
what else was there? Oh, DeYoung went to the Blue Jays, which is interesting. Honestly, makes you wonder what's going on over there. They brought in DeYoung.
What? Huh? Oh, DeYoung. Yeah.
DeYoung went to the Padres. That's weird. Or not Padres, Blue Jays.
To the Blue Jays. Well, Bo Bichette's hurt. So that's
again.
part of that.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're trying to keep up with the Joneses now, so they got to do something. You know, they're kind of stuck in the middle of a pack.
Yeah, there's 7.5 games back, I think.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you got to move one way or another, and the Blue Jays have underperformed for a couple of years now, so you got to mix it up somehow. They just can't be stuck in the middle forever like they are. So
I mean, it doesn't help when you're one of your better hitters with George Springer goes 0 for 35.
right. Yeah,
That was irresponsible.
they
At best, that was irresponsible.
they need to get Jason Giambi's golden thong up there.
Yeah,
That kind of streak.
that was rough.
So was the golden thong.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we bring someone in just to, and he also, it helps that he doesn't like the Yankees, so maybe he'll just, out of pure spite, do well.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I would.
Lots of other trades, but not much outside of, Scherzer and Verlander being, I think, the biggest two, honestly.
Yeah, and then the Angels being buyers too at the trade deadline was really interesting. They got obviously they got a couple of players from the Rockies, but then they got a couple of pitchers from the White Sox to go along with them. And they're kind of like pandering to keep Shohei Ohtani, I think, at this point, because they realize that that's all they have. And yeah, they have Trout, but he's been hurt. And even when
he's
he had, so that's literally, and there was somebody actually caught saying, how the fuck can you pitch to him? It was one of the Blue Jays players was talking to the manager. How the fuck can you pitch to him? He's the only guy on the team who can hit. You see his lips say that. I can't remember who it was, but it's like, how the fuck do you pitch? So they're helping him. It's weird. I don't know what the Angels are doing.
I mean, they're still above 500. They're 7 games back, so it's possible.
Yeah, it's not like that division's out of control.
But they're doing okay. But that is, I gotta be 75% Shohei.
Yeah.
I think he's leading in every stat.
Yeah. If he's not, then he's not playing that position.
He's leading in batting average, home runs, RBIs, on base percentage, obviously.
Yeah.
Hits. He's leading in every pitching category except for saves and holds, which he doesn't relief pitch.
Yeah, he doesn't do that.
God, so yeah, I mean,
he's every position that he is available for, he is the best player on that team.
Yeah, and they suck. How could you waste that level of talent?
Probably the best baseball player anybody alive will ever see. I'm willing to put Babe Ruth in that category. I'm willing to put any of that. This is the greatest player.
He'd be the closest, and he didn't pitch long enough to be that good.
No, and he was only pitching in the mid to upper 80s.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani's throwing over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, consistently and effectively.
Yeah, and hits the baseball a ton.
Yeah, he has 39 home runs.
Both sides of the plate.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the
man has no weaknesses.
Fielding, I guess. I think his fielding percentage isn't perfect.
Maybe somebody says, "Man, your head just got so small." It's like you're in a vortex over there.
Yeah, there looks to be a black hole pulling just your head.
All right. I don't know if I have a dipshit this week. Do you have one?
Oh, I have several. Which one do you want me to do?
Go all of them. Let's hear all of them.
Well, every idiot associated with Ohio State that's betting on their games.
Oh, yeah, that shit.
fucking Christ. These are going to be criminal charges, not just getting kicked off the team. There is criminal charges of fraud pending on at least 2 players.
Jesus Christ.
Because they were betting on their own team illegally through other people. One of those are... Which guy from the Broncos got busted?
Oh, yeah. He was playing... He was the guy who just got kicked out. What the fuck was his name? Uzubuki Nagachuko?
Yeah. Ojo,
Something like
yeah. Wedge, whatever. That dude.
Asadiga Igawai?
I don't think that's what it is. But yeah, we Broncos were unfortunate to have one of those players apparently where they traced his gambling back to when he was in college.
Yeah.
And betting on his own team or against his own team. They haven't clarified that yet.
They didn't. They just said he was betting on the game. They didn't say what he placed wagers on. And it was only like $25 at a time.
Yeah, except for the quarterback they busted, who apparently was $45,000 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Ohio or Iowa State and their entire dumb fucking team as the dipshits this week. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I'm trying to think if I have any dipshits this week. I don't think I do. I'm trying to think.
I don't have it. I'm sure there's other ones, but
can I put my best friend on there who still has no idea what's going on Saturday?
Yes.
He didn't even know there was anything happening like a week ago when I talked to him.
Oh my god. Uh-oh.
Okay, so he starts getting really pissed off at me.
You're still on mute.
Yep.
There. Okay.
There you go.
He's like, damn it, Bobby, why didn't you tell me that there was a party? Mark's my best friend, blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, I sent you messages. I sent you invites. And he's like, let me look. So he starts scrolling through his phone. He's like, oh, yeah, I have an unread message from you from July 6th. But, I didn't want him to come to the party, and so that's why I didn't tell him what was going on.
So
makes sense.
So semi dipshit is Toaster.
Oh, I got another one. The MLS
Go on.
for allowing Lionel Messi to join and make their entire division of soccer look stupid by becoming the best player on the worst team in the MLS and them just smashing the shit out of everyone they played since he joined.
He's just unbelievably. He's so much better than everybody else.
Everybody else in the MLS. And then it makes you wonder why the MLS is not respected around the world. That's why. Because the old man who's no longer good at Premier League apparently joined the MLS and crushed everybody on a shit team.
Yeah. He's a giant. He's a giant amongst regular sized people.
Yeah, he is so. Have you watched any of it?
Oh, I watched replays of what he was doing in that first game.
That was embarrassing.
Fuck, dude. Like, you couldn't write a story better than that.
No, they could do nothing to stop him at all.
No. And even his teammates are like watching him.
Well, yeah, they don't. What else are they going to do? He's doing everything.
It was like watching LeBron James in his early years, where people were just standing on the floor watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like watching that, except there's 11 dudes on the field and not just fucking 4 other guys.
Yeah, and he has who is it? Is it Basquiat? Is the other guy that they have that?
Oh, yeah.
But he's he's like one of Messi's best friends.
Yeah.
Just feeds him the ball.
They're just playing pickup soccer professionally,
It's what it looks like. It looks like he's playing a different fucking game.
Because he is. He was the best player in the world for like 20 years.
Yeah. Join the Scrub League to get $40 million a year and make them all look like jackasses.
He's playing checkers, or he's playing chess when everybody else is playing Operation.
Yeah. But yeah, it's embarrassing for the MLS. Like, I mean, it's good also for the MLS, I guess. Their ticket sales have skyrocketed from anywhere he's playing.
And some of these games are on pay-per-view now.
Yeah, you have to get them on Apple, I think, is where you have to have an Apple thing to watch the games he's been playing. That's how I've been watching it. So, but yeah, that's ridiculous that they're that shitty.
It's wild to me
in comparison.
Also, I'd like to do a special dipshit that I just forgot about to filmmakers everywhere for what's going to happen next month. Everyone last month went apeshit because the movie Oppenheimer and the movie Barbie came out on the exact same day. People were calling it Barbenheimer. People were going nuts for it. People are still going nuts for Barbenheimer. They are on opposite sides of the spectrum as far as movies go. There is not very many things that those two movies have in common. I have one better for you, and it comes out in the middle of September. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the two movies. On one hand, you have the sequel to the first one, and it's a TV show that was made into a movie starring many canines who have superpowers, including being firefighters. And on the other hand, I give you the 10th movie in a franchise of movies that have horrified people and given people nightmares, and one of the most iconic supervillains in horror movie history. I give you Saw Patrol. Paw Patrol sequel comes out and Saw 10 on the same day.
That's an interesting double feature. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Fuck
you
your
take all your kids.
I take your Barbenheimer and raise you a fucking Saw Patrol, man.
Yeah. See if you can find a local drive-in that does double features.
We don't have any of those. There's no local drive-ins around here. The closest one's
one in Pueblo.
Closest one is way on the other side of town by the flea market.
But yeah, that'll be fun.
Saw Patrol.
Saw Patrol. Can't wait.
Yep. All right, Bobby, you want to do the things?
Talk about the socials?
Yeah, you do it.
Okay, so check us out. My brother is an idiot on Facebook, Idiot Goons on Twitter, right?
And
cool.
Instagram, I believe.
Are you guys on Instagram? Maybe Matt's on Instagram with Idiot Goons.
I think
you can also follow Matt at King Goon Smoke, where you'll see him talk very lovingly about himself and meat.
He plays with his meat a lot on television.
He does play with his meat a lot and sets music. Sets it to music, so it's nice.
So you can follow Tank, pretty much Tank Knox or Knox Nostalgic Collectibles on every version of social media that there is.
Yep.
You can follow my lovely itchy husband, because apparently he has a dry patch on his elbow.
And a splinter.
You have Puffle Time on TikTok and on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow me, Duchess Bobby, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and TikTok. And you can follow the Nerds That Know on basically every form of social media that there is. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the things. I'll fix it in a minute. And we're as Nerds That Know on all of them. Next week, we'll be back talking about all things nerdy. So if you have something you'd like us to chat about, drop it in a message to us so we know and we can make sure we cover it. And we are super excited because we'll be at Meow Wolf again a couple of times next month. And we had a great time there last night. So that's it.
We love you, Gene Mingo.
Bruh.
Bruh.